He came from the stars. He could fly faster than light, crush mountains with his hands, and stare through solid steel. He was raised among humans, taught to care, to love, to protect. Sound familiar? But this isn't Superman. This is Marcus Milton, better known as Hyperion, Marvel's own answer to the Man of Steel. And his story begins not with hope, but with tragedy. In his universe, Hyperion was the last survivor of a dying world. As his planet tore itself apart, his parents placed him in a small spacecraft and sent him toward the stars, whispering their final words, "Live, and be the light they could not." He crash-landed on Earth. But instead of being found by loving farmers, Marcus was discovered by a government think tank known as the Eternal Solutions Initiative, a shadow organization that studied extraterrestrial life. They didn't raise him as a child. They trained him as a weapon. From his earliest days, Marcus was taught control, discipline, perfection. He learned to hide among humanity, to study them, to mimic their kindness, while secretly being molded into their protector. And for years, he believed it. He believed he was meant to guide humanity toward greatness. Until one day, he learned the truth. The organization had lied. They hadn't saved him. They had built him. His memories of a destroyed world? Fabricated. His name? Assigned. His entire life? A design. He was one of several genetically engineered beings created using cosmic DNA. Each one meant to serve the Squadron Supreme, a team designed to mirror the world's greatest myths. And Hyperion was their Superman. When he discovered the lie, his heart broke, but not his purpose. He left the organization and vowed to serve humanity on his own terms, to be the symbol of hope the world had lost. And for a time, he succeeded. He lifted cities from ruin. He stopped meteors mid-fall. He even held continents together when the planet itself began to fracture. To the people of his world, Hyperion was a living sun, unstoppable, incorruptible, and endlessly good. But good men rarely stay untouched by tragedy. One day, during a catastrophic multiversal incursion, another Earth appeared in his sky, colliding paths with his own. And when two universes collide, only one survives. Hyperion made his choice. He tried to save both. But in the end, he failed. His world was erased. He was left floating in the void, clutching fragments of continents that no longer existed. Everything he loved, gone. Until AM scientists from Earth 616, the main Marvel universe, found him drifting through the nothingness. They pulled him back into reality, rebuilt his body, and once again, humanity had its God. But this time, the world wasn't the same. This Earth already had heroes, Avengers, X-Men, Fantastic Four. And to Hyperion, they were reckless, chaotic, divided. He believed Earth needed more than heroes. It needed order. He formed a new Squadron Supreme, each member from a destroyed world, each fueled by loss. Together, they would enforce peace by any means necessary. And that's when the comparisons began. People looked up at the sky and whispered, "He's just like Superman." But he wasn't. Because while Superman believed in hope, Hyperion believed in control. He ruled his skies with precision. He didn't just stop crime, he erased it. Entire nations disarmed overnight under his watch. Dictators vanished. War ended. But peace born of fear is no peace at all. The Avengers saw what he was becoming. Captain America confronted him first, standing unarmed before the god. "Power doesn't make you right," Steve said. "It's what you do when no one can stop you that defines you." Hyperion looked down, calm, expressionless. "I don't do what's right," he replied. "I do what's necessary." And somewhere in another universe, beyond the reach of Marvel's cosmos, someone heard those words. A voice like thunder. A presence that made the stars tremble. Superman. Across the fabric of reality, the multiverse rippled. Two suns, one red, one yellow, burned side by side for the briefest moment. A portal tore open between worlds, and through it stepped the last son of Krypton. He looked around, saw the golden cities, the floating machines, the silence of a world too perfect. And then he saw him, hovering in the sky, cape flowing, eyes burning orange with solar fury. Hyperion. The God who ruled through order, and the God who stood for hope. Their eyes met, and in that instant, they understood everything about each other. Both were the last of their kind. Both were men of impossible strength. Both believed they could save the world. But only one was right. Superman floated closer, voice calm yet firm. This world doesn't need fear. It needs faith. Hyperion tilted his head, almost curious. And what happens when faith fails? Kryptonian. Superman's eyes narrowed. Then we rise again. Hyperion smiled faintly. Let's test that. And before a single breath could be drawn, the sky erupted. Two gods collided in midair, heat vision meeting atomic fire. The shockwave flattened mountains, tore clouds apart, and shattered glass across cities for miles. It was the battle the multiverse had waited for, and it had only just begun. The sound of their collision echoed across continents. Two blazing comets locked in combat, tearing the sky apart. Superman and Hyperion, the twin sons of two universes, had finally met. The people below could only stare. Cameras tilted upward. Reporters screamed through static. Even the Avengers, watching from orbit, felt the weight of what was happening. Thor whispered to Captain America through the comms, "By Odin's beard, it's like watching creation fight itself." And he was right. Because this wasn't just a battle of strength. It was a war of ideals. Hyperion struck first. He moved faster than sound, his fist connecting with Superman's jaw in a burst of solar energy that split the sky. The Man of Steel went tumbling through a mountain range, carving a glowing trench miles long. Hyperion hovered above the devastation, eyes flaring gold. "Your world breeds chaos," he said. "I've built one that works." The dust parted. Superman rose slowly, wiping the blood from his lip. "You've built a cage," he said, "and called it peace." In an instant, Superman vanished in a blur of red and blue, slamming Hyperion through the clouds and into the stratosphere. The air ignited from their speed. Each punch cracked thunder across the planet. But Hyperion didn't yield. He grinned through the impact, grabbing Superman by the throat and hurling him into orbit. "Tell me, Kryptonian, how many times have your ideals failed you?" Superman's eyes flashed red. Enough to know they're worth fighting for. He unleashed his heat vision, twin beams of pure fury that cut across the void. Hyperion countered with atomic breath, a blinding surge of cosmic fire. The beams collided, two suns merging in the blackness of space. The explosion lit up the earth below. For a moment, silence. Then, through the dying flare, Superman's silhouette emerged, arms crossed before him, cape torn, chest plate scorched. He looked every bit the legend he was. Hyperion hovered opposite him, chest heaving, a faint crack running across his armor. For the first time in years, he felt something strange. Fatigue. "You're strong," he admitted. "Stronger than any I've faced. But strength alone changes nothing." Superman shook his head. "Then maybe you've forgotten what strength is for." And before Hyperion could react, Superman dove, faster than a meteor, faster than light. The impact shattered the stratosphere. They plummeted back toward Earth, crashing through clouds, through storms, through the upper atmosphere. By the time they hit the ground, an entire desert had become a crater. Superman stood first, his eyes glowing faintly under the dust. Hyperion rose slower, clutching his ribs. He wasn't used to bleeding. Superman approached him, his tone calm but firm. "You've forgotten what it means to be human." "I'm not human," Hyperion growled. "I am what they need me to be." Superman's expression hardened. "So was I? Until I realized they never needed gods. They needed hope." Hyperion's eyes burned brighter. "You think hope will save them?" "I've watched worlds die, Superman. I've buried billions because I hoped." Superman didn't flinch. "Then you stopped too soon." The words hit harder than any punch. For a heartbeat, Hyperion hesitated. Something flickered behind his eyes. A memory, a voice, the echo of a world long gone. But he buried it beneath rage. Enough! He lunged again, faster than light itself, tackling Superman through the crust of the earth. They burst through molten rock, magma swirling around them like liquid fire. Even there, deep below, their punches echoed like drums of war. Superman's vision blurred as Hyperion's blows rained down. Each strike carried the weight of a dying sun. But Superman's resolve burned brighter. He caught Hyperion's fist mid-swing, eyes blazing. Your power comes from destruction. He drove his forehead into Hyperion's, sending shockwaves through the magma. Mine comes from love. Hyperion screamed, breaking free, erupting upward in a column of molten light that split the ground open for miles. The two rockets shot skyward again, back into open air, their capes ablaze. At supersonic speed, they circled the globe. Cities trembled beneath them. Oceans boiled. Every collision shook the atmosphere. This was no longer a fight. It was a test of destiny. In New York, Tony Stark watched from the Stark Tower observation deck, sensors off the charts. Cap, he said over the comms, we're talking planet-shattering levels of power. If this keeps up, they'll break reality itself. Cap's voice came steady but heavy. Then we stop them. But how do you stop gods? High above the planet, Superman and Hyperion locked hands, each pushing with enough force to bend space. Their eyes met again. You think you're better than me, Hyperion snarled. I am you, Superman said quietly. The man you could have been. The words tore something loose inside Hyperion. All the pain. All the lies. All the grief of losing everything. He screamed, not in rage this time, but in sorrow, and unleashed it all. A solar pulse erupted from his body, expanding outward like a miniature supernova. The blast hurled Superman back through orbit, his cape disintegrating in the blaze. Satellites melted. Energy readings spiked beyond comprehension. For a moment, it looked like Hyperion had won. He floated in the glow, panting, trembling. Then a shadow cut through the light. Superman. Still standing. Still flying. Still smiling. You really thought the sun would stop me? He said, his voice echoing like thunder. I grew up under one. And then the tables turned. Superman absorbed the last of Hyperion's solar flare, draining the energy, letting it feed him. His wounds closed instantly. His aura blazed like a second dawn. Hyperion's eyes widened. What are you? Superman floated closer, the wind roaring around him. Not your enemy, Hyperion. But if you keep this up, I'll have to end it. Hyperion's pride wouldn't let him stop. He roared and charged once more. Superman caught the blow and held it. Their fists locked between them, energy crackling like lightning. You're strong, Superman said. But strength without mercy is just tyranny. With a single, final strike to Hyperion's chest, Superman sent him crashing into the sea below, steam exploding upward as waves rose hundreds of feet high. The fight was over. But the war for Hyperion's soul had only begun. The ocean hissed as Hyperion sank beneath the waves. Boiling water surrounded him. The sky above was cracked with light. But beneath the surface, everything was quiet. He floated there, suspended in silence. For the first time in years, he felt small. High above, Superman hovered, scanning the waters with his heat vision. He didn't see a villain. He saw a man on the edge of breaking. And maybe, someone he could still save. Then, slowly, Hyperion emerged from the depths. Steam curled off his armor. The glow in his eyes had dimmed. He looked up at the Kryptonian and said, voice trembling, you think you've won? Superman landed gently on a nearby island, calm and resolute. This was never about winning. Hyperion clenched his fists. Then what was it about? Understanding. Superman said, I know what it's like to lose everything. To wonder if saving the world even matters. But it does. Every small act. Every person who still believes. That's what keeps us going. Hyperion's gaze hardened. Belief doesn't bring back the dead. Superman nodded slowly. No. But it honors them. The wind howled between them. Two gods. Two broken sons of dying worlds. And for a moment, just a heartbeat, they saw each other clearly. But peace is fragile. And it never lasts long in a world of heroes. A sudden flash of gold and blue tore open the sky. Dr. Spectrum, a member of Hyperion's Squadron Supreme, appeared, wielding his cosmic prism. Hyperion, he shouted. The dimensional barrier, it's collapsing. The fight's tearing our universes apart. Superman turned sharply toward him. What? Spectrum pointed upward. A rift had formed, a blinding fracture between realities, pulsing with unstable energy. Lightning arced across both skies. Earth trembled beneath it. The multiverse is reacting, Spectrum said. You're both too powerful. The collision of your energies is ripping space-time open. Hyperion's eyes widened. He looked around, the horizon twisting like liquid, pieces of both worlds flickering in and out of existence. His Earth, Superman's Earth, merging, breaking. Superman flew up beside him. Then we have to stop it. Spectrum shook his head. Not we. You. The air split again. This time, the Avengers appeared. Iron Man, Thor, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, all glowing against the chaos. Clark, Strange said, voice grave, you don't belong here. The collision of two suns can only end one way. Superman stared at him. What are you saying? You have to go back to your world, Strange said. Before both universes die. Hyperion's jaw tightened. He turned toward Strange, furious. You're just going to let him leave? After what he's done. Thor stepped forward, gripping Mjolnir. What he's done, Hyperion, is save us. You'd have broken the world if he hadn't stopped you. Lies. Hyperion shouted. You all turned your backs on me. Superman floated between them. Enough. This isn't about pride, it's about survival. The rift widened. Chunks of space broke apart, revealing flashes of stars, cities, and shattered dimensions. Hyperion stared into the light, his home flickering, fading. He whispered, my world's already dying. Superman placed a hand on his shoulder. Then help me save what's left. For a second, Hyperion hesitated. His fist trembled. He wanted to strike, to scream, but instead, he nodded. Together, they rose. The two of them, solar titans, flew side by side into the heart of the storm. Reality itself screamed around them. Energy flared in violent colors. Their bodies glowed like twin suns, pushing against the gravitational pull of the collapse. Doctor Strange and Iron Man watched from below as the two streaks of light spiraled upward. Tony muttered, if this works, I'm buying the Kryptonian a drink. Thor smirked. He'll have earned it. Inside the breach, time lost meaning. Superman and Hyperion strained against the tearing forces of the multiverse. Every second felt like eternity. Superman shouted through the chaos. Focus your energy on the core. Match my frequency. Hyperion nodded, his eyes burning again with purpose. Together, they unleashed twin beams of energy, one powered by Krypton's sun, the other by atomic might. The rift began to close, slowly, painfully, but the cost was clear. Their energy wasn't enough. Hyperion faltered, his strength fading. I can't hold it. Superman reached out, grabbing his arm. Yes, you can. You're not alone this time. Hyperion looked at him, conflicted, emotional. He had fought this man, hated him, envied him. But now he understood him. With a final burst of light, Hyperion poured everything he had into the core. Superman followed suit, amplifying the power. The light engulfed them both, blinding, holy, final. And then silence. When the dust cleared, the rift was gone. The sky was calm again, but only one figure floated down from the clouds. Superman. His cape was torn to ribbons. His chest plate shattered. He looked exhausted, but alive. Tony's scanner beeped softly. 2 energy signatures went in, he said quietly. Only one came out. Hyperion was gone. No trace. No echo. Just light fading in the distance. Superman landed softly on the beach. He looked toward the rising sun, his expression somber. He did it, he whispered. He saved both worlds. Days later, across the multiverse, a small star ignited in a distant void. A new sun, golden, radiant, pure. And if you listened closely enough, you could almost hear his voice. Hyperion, the fallen god who finally remembered what it meant to be human. In the end, Superman didn't defeat Hyperion, he redeemed him. He showed that even gods can lose their way, but heroes never stop believing. 2 men, 2 worlds. One lesson, power means nothing without purpose. If you enjoyed this Battle of Titans, make sure to subscribe, because next time, we're exploring Thor vs. Superman, God of Thunder versus Man of Steel. You won't want to miss it.